Hey guys, welcome back to Foreign Reacts, and we're doing the Italian series. This is the series, man, for Italians. I'm trying to learn a lot of things about Italy for the month of May. So, if you have any suggestions, leave those in the comment section down below. And yeah, if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe, man. Welcome to Foreign Reacts. We do foreign reactions over here, man, and we're gonna be checking out this video right now. I don't like doing these videos, but I think everybody likes it, except for me. But either ways, I gotta do every form of video in for every country that I do a series for. So let's check out racism in Italy. Being African American in Italia. Don't know why she said Italia, but whatever. Let's get right into this video, guys.
YouTube, it's Tia, and today I'm going to be doing a video for you guys. I've been getting a lot of requests to do more videos related to me living in Italy and my experiences here. And one question that I've been asked about the most is, what's it like being black in Italy? Tell us about racism in Italy. To answer this question, I think I would definitely have to start off with addressing the fact that racism and race is perceived differently wherever you go. And it's different. Racism in America is different than racism in Italy and Europe. And I learned that from living here. Now, this is all because of history. Now, in America, North and South America, we had slavery. We had social systems based off of the color of your skin. The lighter you were, the higher up in the system you were, and the darker you were, the lower down in the system you were. In America, we had the whites and the mulattoes and the blacks. We had the whites, the house slaves, and the field slaves. In South America, they had whites and the mestizos. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I can't remember how to pronounce it. But the mixed race people. Then you had the indigenous people and the Africans at the very bottom. And that way of thinking that lighter is better and darker is worse has stayed with us for 300 years. It's an institutionalized way of thinking that is just now being questioned, just recently being questioned. In Europe, they don't have that background of slavery.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks that what she said. Yeah, it's really a hot topic. Everybody wants to know, what is it like being this or being that? Like, I've never heard a person say, what is it like being a white in maybe a country that is predominantly, with darker skinned folks. I don't like saying black or white, but you never hear it. You never hear a person say what it's like to be a European living in, what do you say, like China, and they're talking about racism. If they're talking about European living in China, they're talking about cultural differences. They're not talking about race or color or whatever, so it's kind of really sad the way how the world is. And I don't think it's going to change anytime soon, because a lot of people have adopted to this, acceptance that they're inferior. Like, that's the truth. And I personally, like I've said many times, believe that racism literally stemmed from classism. And I've always said it, and I'm always going to say it, because I personally believe the reason why slaves even started in the first place was not because they just didn't like anyone. It's because they wanted to be great and successful. They go to other places, see somebody, and they're like, I could use you, pay you little to nothing. And mentally speaking, I got to tell you that you're garbage, in order for you to stay garbage, give you inferior education. And that's why I personally look at racism different from probably everybody, because I see it as a businessman rather than a human, So I'm looking at it as a business point of view. They were trying to grow, they see you, they exploit you, if that makes sense.
And a lot of their interactions with darker people were very indirect. When slavery and colonialization ended, countries like France and England, with a lot of black territories, let their colonies, the inhabitants of their colonies, become citizens and join French and English society. So, I mean, they probably have more problems than countries like Italy that didn't really have interaction with their colonies or darker people. It's only recently, the 90s, that Italy started having a big surge in immigration. Before the 90s, the only people you'd find in Italy were Italians. And so it was a very homogeneous population. You'd have a couple immigrants here and there, but it wasn't like this big thing. By the time that they started interacting with different races and different cultures, I think it was a pretty like world accepted concept that racism was archaic, racism was barbaric. Like people weren't, they already knew it was wrong to judge people based on the color of their skin. And I think that's why now here in Italy, they don't have a problem of racism. Nobody treats me differently here because I'm black. And nobody says things like, oh, you're so pretty for a black girl. You're smart for a black girl. You talk like a white girl. You know, nobody says ignorant stuff like that people say in USA.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, Italy has more of an issue with like xenophobia, and they link your I don't know, your societal worth to the country that you come from. Because recently there have been a lot of immigrants coming from like the Middle East and Africa, war-torn, poor countries. They're refugees. And in Europe, there's a huge surge of them in Europe in general, but in Europe there's this rule that refugees have to stay and be processed in the first country that they land. Now, if you look on a map, you will see that the closest country to the Middle East and Africa is Italy. And so these countries are getting a lot of immigrants, flooded with immigrants, and they don't even have the systems to deal with them. Like, Italy was in an economic crisis, and it was getting hundreds of thousands of refugees a year. Like, if you can't even provide for your own people and support the system for your own people, how are you going to support immigrants? And so there was this huge immigration crisis. There is this huge immigration crisis. And of course, as you can guess, it only bred problems because these people were also being trafficked by criminal organizations. They were being trafficked by the mafia. They're being trafficked by like individual criminal organizations from their own countries, and it increases crime. And the Italians see this increase of crime with the immigrants and these different people, these non-Italians. So in addition to them already being a little conservative because they were homogeneous for all of their existence, basically, they already had this view of Italian and then non-Italian, this distinct separation. Compile that with the fact that they're being flooded in with immigrants, and crime is increasing in the country, not directly caused by the immigrants, but correlating with the immigrants. And so there's where that misconception comes from, which is why if you're an African immigrant, you will be treated differently than if you are an African American. They really link you to your country. They see America as this place of like, I don't know, like this super developed, rich nation, think that everybody that comes from there.
She's probably the first person I've actually heard speak about racism in a manner where I would literally shake her hand and say, you are doing great. You understand what it is about. You understand why certain countries seem like they're racist. You understand why people would rather to be homogeneous rather than to have a bunch of refugees in their country. It's not that they hate you. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, Poland is a country that doesn't like refugees, and Poland is said to be racist. That's what they say about Poland, but they just don't like refugees. And if they prefer not to have refugees in their country due to the fact that there's an increase in such and such and such, I totally understand that. And I don't think that should be displaced as racism. That should just be somebody just does not want that type of environment brought to their environment. It's just that simple, because as a refugee, you're coming in with your culture, you're coming in with your things. It's not that you wanted to be in that country, it's that you're likely seeking a better life. Right? When I move into Europe, I'm not moving to Europe as a refugee. I'm not moving to Europe for a better life. I'm moving to Europe for specific reasons that I will announce further on, on my other channels. But America was America for me. That was it. Nothing else, right? I would visit other countries, but I never thought one day I would actually want to visit the entire Europe, and that's my state right now. So I totally appreciate this girl's point of view of racism, and I love the fact that she's not trying to speak about racism as an entire broad topic. She tries to dissect it and get into, the different avenues that can make things seem like it is racism, when really it's just preference.
Be super rich, and if you come from America and you have nice hair and nice clothes, they're going to assume, oh, you're rich, and they'll be nice to you. It's more of a classism, xenophobic, country issue than it is a race issue. They don't care if you're black. They care about where you come from and how you dress and speak and carry yourself, which I'm not saying is right, but that's not racism. Racism is discriminating against people based on race, and I don't see that here. A lot of the people that tell me, oh, Italy is so racist is either Africans living in Italy, which I would just say to them, listen, we have totally different perceptions of racism. In Italy, there's nobody pulling you over. Like, black people don't get pulled over on the side of the street more than Italians, and black people don't get followed around in stores over Italians. Like, everybody is treated equally under the law, and there's not this huge stigma about being black. Like, nobody gives a damn if you're black, basically. I mean, it's not so ingrained as it is in America. In America, your race is a part of your identity. Like, people say, oh yeah, that black girl over there, or like that white girl over there, and you have to check down your race on everything, on voter registrations or on your CMTs and standardized tests. Like, your race is a part of your identity. It's a part of who you are, whereas it's not.
I like how she's getting deep up in there.
I acknowledge that Italy has its problems. Italy has its political problems. Italy has its economic problems. But socially, Italy and Europe are light years ahead of USA. Like, it's really crazy. I can't even describe it. You just need to get out there and see it. I was subjected to things in USA that I'm not subject to around here. And I didn't come from the dirty South or anything like that. I come from Connecticut. I come from a liberal, northern, progressive state, and I've been subject to a lot of stuff that is racist. I'm not saying anything.
I've always personally believed, from a person who have, I've been in a few states, but South Carolina is my baby. South Carolina is my state. I've always believed that those progressive northern, what do you say? You want to say anything above, I don't know. I've always think that the South states, okay, exclude Florida. I think Florida is really, 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 really has a lot of racism there, but I just don't know. I just always think that the states that are represented, look at Washington and all these places, look at where the White House is at. Like, racism is literally high there, bro, and it's a 50-50 thing. It's like 50% black, 50% white folks over there, bro. I'm telling you, I believe the more equal the population is in terms of demographics, I believe that the higher the possibility of racism is. I just think that. I don't know. I just think that.
I'm not saying that Italy or Europe is better than USA. I'm just saying it's different. And for me, I prefer to live in Europe. I mean, if work or school takes me back to America, it is what it is. America's my home. America's my country. But when I go to start a family, I would much rather my children live in Europe, because I know that they're not going to have to be subject to a lot of the hypocrisy and confusion that I was subject to. In Italy, I won't have to worry about my son going out and being racially profiled and shot down in the street like you have to worry about in America. And if I have mixed race children, I won't have to worry about them being confused and discriminated against because they're mixed race, like those issues.
And you don't have to worry about them being called black. Let's say she's married to an Italian guy, and he's a white dude supposedly, right? I don't really like that white black thing, but let's just use it. She marries to a white dude, she's black, they have a kid. The kid is not supposed to be called black. In America, the kid is called black because there's a thing called superiority, and white is seen as pure. And if you mix pure with impure, you no longer have pure in the impure. Hence, if you know a little bit of chemistry, right, we can do that into the human biological nonsense, right? And when you look at it, in America, a child who is mixed, black and white, they're called black. They exclude the fact that your mother or father is white and you are now black. And it's a very sad thing because I see black people saying it and I see white people saying it. They don't call you mixed. They say you're black. But flip the coin. Let's say someone is Korean and Japanese. They're not called Koreans. They're not called Japanese. They're called Asian. They're called a mixed Asian or something of the sort like that. They're not dominant in terms of saying, okay, if you got mixed with black, okay, you're just black. We don't have you anymore over here. That's what happens in America. It's very sad. I don't know if you guys understood what I'm saying, but it was really hard to explain.
Happen here. Or even if they do happen, they're not as prevalent and ingrained as they are in the USA. I'm not saying that there are no racists in Italy, there are racists everywhere, but I'm just saying it's not the same. When people talk about racism in Italy, they usually talk about these two isolated incidents. They talk about the treatment of professional football player, soccer player, Mario Balotelli, and the first black Italian minister in parliament, Cecile Kienge. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her last name right. But they say that when there are soccer matches, the fans jeer and throw bananas and mock black players. It is true. But these are isolated incidents. They are not supported by the national soccer federations. As a matter of fact, teams are penalized when their fans do stuff like that. It is strictly, it's like prohibited now. And anyways, to go further, would you want people to judge America based on our sports fans? Like make a broad generalization like that, oh, all Americans are racist because our sports fans do some racist stuff? Like sports fans are crazy. They take sports really seriously here, especially football, soccer. And then,
No, not soccer,
second, I would
football.
say there was an incident where I guess a
Oh, you're talking about
person
you.
threw a banana at Cecile Kienge, and from what I know, that person was part of Liga Nord, and like Liga Nord is a far right political party in Italy. Far right. They're really against immigrants, and they want the north of Italy to like secede from the rest of Italy. It's crazy. But anyways, it was a radical that threw that banana at her. And that was an isolated incident by a radical partier. I mean, things like that happen in USA. Okay, maybe they're not throwing a banana at people, but if you go on any of Barack Obama or Michelle Obama's YouTube videos, count how many times regular Americans call them monkeys or say disgusting things about them based on their race. I mean,
I shouldn't be laughing, but seriously? Like what could make you feel so confident to call the president a monkey? Like, do we understand? Like, I don't even know where and why did in racism people called or referred to Africans or dark skinned folks as monkeys? Like, what caused that? Like, where along the line did you slip up? Like, first of all, if you're a believer in evolution, what the heck are white people then? What the heck is everybody then? Because if you believe in evolution and the monkey turning into the man, like what are you then? You're a ghost? Like I'm sorry, but like what? I don't know why people associate monkeys. Like it just doesn't make any sense. Because last time I checked, I look at a monkey looks nothing like a human, nothing. Unless I don't know, you probably have like some deficiency or something, but not to me.
Obama did a lot of stuff for our country. I don't even know how people can continue to deny it. Gas prices are at $2 in America right now. We never thought we'd see the day. Our economy is good. The war in Iraq is over. The war in Afghanistan is still winding down. Like Obama did everything that he said he would do. We have like more or less universal health care. I mean, and people still hate him. Now, what makes Obama different from all the other presidents we've ever had?
Biracial.
What makes Obama different? Why does Obama and his family get death threats? Why do the Obama girls get called sluts because of their skirts? I mean, what makes their family different than every other first family? I'm sure that majority of white Americans can say that they don't dislike Obama because of his race. They dislike Obama because of his political positions. But I'm also sure that a majority of white Americans can say they know that a lot of white Americans don't like Obama because of his race. They know a good amount of them. It's not like this small minority. A lot of people have a problem with Obama, and it's because of race. It's not a debatable matter. But anyways, this isn't a political video. This isn't a political channel, and I don't want it to be that way. Back to the thing about racism in Italy. And now maybe some people would argue, well, yeah, Tia, you live in Milan. That is true. Milan is a really cosmopolitan, very mixed city, but I've been to other places in Italy. Like a lot of my friends are from Fano, which is a small city in the center of Italy, and my boyfriend's family is from an even smaller town outside of Fano, and they aren't like bumpkins. Like they're not mean to
First of
me.
all, first of all, like you just said, they're not mean to her. This video is 20 minutes long. I'm gonna end it right now, but I want to say one thing. If she's dating an Italian guy, allow the Italian guy's family and that Italian guy to represent Italy. It's just hard for me to say Italy. It just sounds weird. But Italy, allow him to represent Italy because yeah, that says it all. I don't need to say anything else. But racism is just one big, stupid topic. People hate you because of a color. Yeah, I wouldn't advise anyone to focus on racism. Don't focus on it. It's pointless. It's really pointless to focus on it because it's something that holds you back and it will make you miserable if you focus on it. It's just like a natural common hate. If racism is not holding you back, for instance, like you can't get a job, like those persons in, like you'd say, the African continent. If you're in that situation, then I can understand why you have or allowed racism to affect you. But if you're not in that situation and you're just being name dragged or whatever, don't let that get to you, man. That's all I can say to you because more life, and you got to get up out of that, and you got to realize that it's just words. It ain't got nothing to do with you, and you have the control to draw all of that. So if that's happening to you guys, man, get up out of that, man. There are a lot of other people in this world who love you and they don't look like you. That's a fact that I can tell y'all. So I'm out of here. It's a long video. I'm out of here, guys. Peace.